Hi, I'm Chance Miller. I'm an aspiring voice actor. I'm gonna start this video with Humphrey Bogart. You see, he's one of my favorite actors. A lot of people do Humphrey Bogart, but they never seem to do him quite right. Everybody says, oh, we'll always have Paris, but I always prefer to try and do my impressions realistically. Jimmy Stewart is another one of my favorite classic actors. He has a drawl, you see. He almost he stutters, but in a charming way. William Holden, as you know, you can keep it on that pitch. You just keep it down here. I could even go further. Put glasses on. I just keep it down and talk. He was very smart. He was a smart man. Now, a lot of people do walking wrong, because they always go for the potty trick walking. Oh, this watch up your ass. That's not what I'm about. I like to do walking in the way he actually talks, because I think it's much more interesting.
And then, of course, there's the one everybody does. It's Sean Connery. If I were to speak like this, very directly to the camera, that is young Sean Connery. And that's a difference, because everybody goes for old Sean Connery, and they always overdo the Scottish accent.
And while we're at it, let's go down the list of James Bonds. Roger Moore. He has a very sophisticated kind of voice. Bond. James Bond. And then, of course, there was the 90s. Speaking of crap Bond movies. Die Another Day. Oh, nearly made me retire. This is Pierce Brosnan. Speaking of looking like squeezing out a fart, that brings me to Charlton Heston. He always looks like he's trying way too hard. Oh my God, that could clear out a room. I always like impressionists like Phil Hartman. He was a funny guy, and he was always trying to eat Arnold Schwarzenegger's cookies. Put that cookie down! Then, of course, there's Arnold Schwarzenegger, who I've been doing since I was a young child. I mean, I haven't been doing him, but you know what I mean. I've been doing his voice. He's one of my favorite people. He's a great actor. You know, speaking of actors who've been around for a long time, I know there's like 3 people who do Tom Cruise, but I've been doing him since I was 16. Let's put the record straight. I was the first Tom Cruise. Can't forget George W. Bush. He had a big job. He had a lot of things going on. I don't think he knew quite how many things he had going on, but if he had kept a list, I'm sure he would have had a lot. Now let me be clear. I was around for 8 years too. Don't forget George. I was a pretty good man. I was a brother in the office, if you know what I'm saying. Now I'm gonna go out on a record right here and say he wasn't really a brother. His birth certificate would have told us everything we needed to know about him. And you know, speaking of cartoon characters like Donald Trump.
Let's go back to like Hanna-Barbera, man. We got things like Shaggy and Scooby-Doo. Shag, Scoob, you stay here. Me, Velma, and Daphne are gonna go check out the master bedroom of this haunted house.
And of course, you can't forget cartoon characters without me, eh, Fred?
That's right, Bud. You and I.
What are we gonna do today? Well, I think we have to go to work. Oh, come on, Fred. Let's go play bowling. Hey, whoa! It's me, Johnny Bravo. Hey, baby! You ever seen something like this before? How about I put my moves on you? Hey, wow, baby.
Peter Griffin gets me started on a rabbit hole that literally leads down the whole Seth Macfarlane lineup. The magical thing about Seth Macfarlane is I actually can actually just talk like Seth Macfarlane. I've always wanted to use it to call his studio and get myself inside and then take his job from him from the inside out. So if you can do Seth Macfarlane, you can do Brian Griffin. And if you can do Brian Griffin,
you can do Stewie Griffin, who's just as easy, if not even easier than that.
Then we're gonna do the greased up deaf guy, see you in the theater. Which leads to Cleveland Brown, because they're voiced by the same guy, which is just kinda nasty. I'm actually gonna throw in Michael Caine, because Michael Caine sounds already like a bloody cartoon character. So if you really get into it and you want to do someone who sounds cartoony, you do Michael Caine.
Or, of course, You do Alan Arkin. Now, the funny thing about Alan Arkin is I actually stole him from another person. It's how I got most of my impressions.
And if you can do Kevin Pollak, you can do Alan Alda, and I think that's just great. You see, if you do one voice that leads to another, it's actually very easy to just keep going.
See, while I'm on the subject of deep voice people, I can also do Bryan Cranston, who's very useful because if you want to say, quote, Breaking Bad, I am the one who knocks.
Or if you want to do Matthew McConaughey, he's down there too, so he's on kind of a similar register, but you just gotta put that southern twang. And if you tweak it just a little bit much, you get Woody Harrelson, who's not who we're going for right now.
You know who else is down there?
Robert De Niro.
Now, it's all in the face, but if you pull your face just the right way, you can bend your nasal passages, and you can get a sound out. Look at me! Look at me!
I'm Chance Miller, and this has been just a few of the impressions I can do in a short span of time. If you like what you see, maybe I'll do more.